Always flirting with the guys, trouble's your middle name. And you promised me.
Well, I started playing music when I was in high school. I took up banjo because everybody played guitar, which is not really a great criteria, but I just wanted to be different. And then immediately started listening to blues and jazz, which is not really the best instrument to play the banjo in, but I played through college and then kind of stopped, played just enough at home to not get worse.
No comfort between a hard place and a rock.
We moved up to San Marcos, it was almost 15 years later, in the early 90s, and got back into it kind of by accident. I was looking at the San Marcos paper, and in a column there was a little blurb saying that somebody was looking for people to jam with in Wimberley, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll answer that. It's a fun scene. And you meet musicians and hear musicians that you might not know any other way.
We're pretty spoiled in Central Texas, you know. We say that there's a lot of music, but if you go to other parts of the country, that's not the case. If you're in San Marcos and you're a great songwriter, well, so's the guy who lives 3 doors down. And you play a mean guitar, well, so do I. You know, so does everyone. So, if you go to other parts of the country, it does not work that way. So I think that's why I think the saying is that, like, places like New York and LA don't produce music. Like, music never comes from those big cities. It always comes from places like San Marcos or Poughkeepsie, or, really it does. I think you go to those places if you want to make a living, because there you've got 25 million people and only 8 other songwriters. You get into some different ratios. So anytime anybody wants to make a living playing music, all they've got to do is hone their craft in the town they actually love, in the community they actually love, and then go to a place like Houston. You'll sell out every show, every night, because you got 6 million people and only 12 venues. They want live music every night, and they're going to be packed regardless of who's playing. As opposed to a place like San Marcos, where you got some of the greatest musicians in the world who are playing at a little cafe in Wimberley for free, and passing a tip bucket around. So it's an interesting problem to have. That's a loaded question. It's a lot of things. Both as somebody who likes making music, it's almost meditative in the writing process. It's kind of can be cathartic, but it's also it's a lot like poetry. It's a way of reaching across to other people, or being touched by other people. Just like the kid in you when you're 12 years old who falls in love with music for the first time. You listen to those pop songs on the radio, and you're like, they speak straight to my soul. I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. That's how it always is. That aspect of it never changes.
Well, I like the people that go there. I'll go regularly to an open mic if I like the venue or I like the people running the open mic. So that's the first criteria. When I worked in Austin, I would go out sometimes. There's a couple ones that I would go to on a regular basis. I don't usually go every week, partly time and energy, or I have other commitments. But like with Middleton, for example, because we talked about that and that's where we met, they host an open mic every Monday. I like Tom, the guy who runs the sound and hosts it there, and Bill Middleton, who's no relation to the owner of the Middleton Brewing, oddly enough, but he's the general host there. I like them. When I first started going, there was a harmonica player who I had met and played with 8 or 9 years before, and I'd lost touch with him and saw he was co-hosting the open mic, and he was doing that. So I went out there to see Johnny, and so that got me hooked there. And I play at Middleton with my band every couple of months. So I think it's important to establish relationships. And so going to the open mic, keeps me visible there. I can promote shows that I have going. And if I don't have any shows, I go anyways, or I'll go try out a new song there, because open mics are a great place to test out new material, whether it's something written or just a new song I'm adding to my repertoire, or dredging back out an old one that I haven't played in a long time.
Probably our open mic program on Mondays, because it, up until I had my little problem here with the arm, it is the longest continuously running open mic in Hayes County at 3.5 years. It would be 4 years coming up this next year. And the surprises that you get, that where does all this talent come from? And why am I not hearing this talent everywhere? Why am I hearing it here at an open mic? And so that also gave me a great insight to knowing where to get some new talent, was because I got to listen to them on Monday. They might have a job on Friday. So, and like some of the other people you talked to, that's exactly how I got to know them, was through an open mic.
Just keep doing it. Don't worry about whether or not you're making a living. Find another way to make a living. You know. I will surely love you. I will surely love you. It's all